They yanked him off that flight like he was baggage that didn't belong. And you know what? He walked away from $5 billion without even blinking. Not a drop of water sipped, not a warning, nothing. That's how quick it went down. You probably heard his name in tech circles. Darius Freeman, 47, clean Navy suit, every inch the CEO of a billion-dollar AI company, sitting there in seat 2, first class, looking out the window at the morning tarmac like anybody else who's earned a little peace and quiet after a lifetime of grind. The plane was barely loaded. Passengers were still fiddling with bags, that little scramble for space overhead. Darius, calm as ever, had his tablet out, last-minute touch-ups for the biggest deal of his life, $5 billion on the table, handshake waiting in Jersey. And then, just like that, 2 men in blazers moved down the aisle. One with a radio, the other scanning seat numbers like they were checking a spreadsheet, only their spreadsheet had a single entry. Him. "Sir, could you step off the plane for a moment?" Not loud, but not private either, just enough for the whole front of first class to go pin-drop silent. All eyes, but nobody looking. Darius didn't raise his voice, didn't get rattled. "Excuse me, is something wrong?" he asked, as cool as ice. "Just need to verify a few things," the man replied, waving for him to bring his bag. That paused away, nobody said a word, just sat there pretending to read the in-flight mag or scroll their phones. That said everything, you know? He stood up, smooth, straightened his jacket. The woman across the aisle, she'd been loud on her phone just a second ago, suddenly went real quiet, eyeing him out of the corner like she wasn't sure if she should be afraid or embarrassed or both. A guy, too, rose back in a fleece vest, leaned over, and whispered to his buddy. But no one, not a soul, stood up for him. Not even a question. Not even a why him. So out he went, not just off the plane, but out of place, out of line, just the way they wanted. Now, Darius didn't come up with a silver spoon in his mouth, you gotta know that part. Grew up in Stockton, California, 6 people crammed in a little house. One old radiator that barely worked. His mom, Bernice, school librarian, stretched every penny like it was elastic. His dad, Ellis, turned wrenches, never took a sick day, even when he should have. Darius was that kid always messing with wires, always hungry for answers, fixing an old Game Boy just to see how it ticked. He wanted more than just to make it. He wanted to build something, leave a mark. By 35, he'd done it. Langford AI, named for his grandfather who taught him to stand tall and never let the world shrink him, grew from 2 guys in a basement into a tech powerhouse. He didn't flash the money, didn't chase the headlines, just built things that worked, let the numbers talk. And that deal, Caliber Air, top 3 airline, was about to hand him $5 billion to overhaul their cargo, make every route smarter, greener, faster, cut delays and waste, turn the whole system upside down. It was the kind of contract that would set up his grandkids' The only thing bigger than the money was the responsibility to his engineers, his family, the legacy of every kid who ever got told to stay in their lane. But you know what the funny thing is? No matter how clean his suit, how sharp his numbers, there were always rooms where he was still just a black man out of place. He'd gotten used to it. Thought maybe, finally, things had changed. That what he built would be enough. But that day on flight 2280 proved otherwise. Some folks will see what they want. And if you look calm, you're suspicious. If you ask questions, you're difficult. If you stand your ground, you're aggressive. Darius learned early, don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you angry. But don't ever back down. He'd barely got his pass scanned to the gate, first class, window seat, all legit. Gate agent barely even glanced at him. No smile, just scanned and nodded him on. 3 black folks in first class total. Darius noticed him, a woman with a headscarf reading her Kindle, and a guy tucked way back, headphones in. He took his seat, tablet out. Prepping, that's when the trouble started. A woman in a white sweater, blonde, nice bag, stopped at his row. "I think you might be in my seat," she said, uncertain but insistent. He double-checked. "No, this is 2A," he said, calm. She hesitated, phone out, pretending to check, then drifted to another seat with a nervous smile. Flight attendant caught the whole thing, gave Darius a soft, knowing look. Sometimes that's all you get. Then the pilot does his greeting, everyone settles. Darius finally lets himself relax for a second, thinking about his family, his daughter Zion back home, all the folks counting on him. That's when he catches that white sweater lady up by the galley, whispering to a different attendant. I don't know, he just looked off. You might want to double check. Didn't think he'd hear. But he did. Not 5 minutes later, 2 guys in blazers. Sir, need to speak with you. The script. The air in the cabin changed, thick, charged, nobody breathing, phones half raised but nobody stepping in. Is there a problem with my ticket? He asks, steady. Just verifying seating and identity, sir. Already did that at the gate, Darius says. No issues. Then it shouldn't take long. Polite, but the kind of polite that cuts you down. He could feel everyone's eyes on him, but nobody's voice. Not a single, what's this about? He grabbed his bag, walked out past the white sweater lady. She didn't meet his gaze, coffee cup white-knuckled. Down the jet bridge, into a little room off the side. No handcuffs, no yelling, just that cold official routine designed to let them feel powerful. Name? Purpose of travel? Who do you work for? He answers every question. Freeman Systems. We own Langford AI. We're about to close a $5 billion deal with your airline. That hit different. They paused, shifted, called in a supervisor. Apologetic, but stiff. It was a miscommunication, sir. Here's a meal voucher, a new seat, a little upgrade for your inconvenience. He didn't take it. What procedure exactly? He asked. Because nobody gets pulled off a plane over seat confusion unless somebody decided I didn't fit the picture. The apology stayed shallow. He stood there, weighing his next move. He could have blown it up, called a lawyer, called the press. But something in him said no, not this way. Tell your legal team to expect a call, he said, and walked. Not loud, just steady, like the weight of a world on his shoulders. He found a quiet bench, opened his laptop, started working. Not out of spite, out of clarity. By the time he landed in New York, on a different flight, 4 hours late, word was already out. Blogs, forums, tech Twitter, Black Tech CEO removed from first class. It spread fast, but what hit Darius wasn't the headlines. It was the silence. The way not one of those 30-odd folks on that plane asked a question. Not one, is he okay? Just silence. The same silence his dad told him about growing up. Keep your head down, don't draw trouble. Only now, Darius wore a suit, but the world still tried to shrink him. In Newark, he took a cab, texted his wife Joy. Landed. I'll explain later. She didn't press. She knew the code. Next morning, boardroom in Jersey City, big windows, bagels, bottled water, all the corporate trimmings. The Caliber Air team was all smiles, except Janet, the VP. I heard about what happened, she said, real uncomfortable. We're investigating. Darius nodded. Good, but that's not why I'm here. He walked to the front, clicked to the next slide, terms revision proposal. CFO leaned forward. We thought terms were locked. They were, Darius said. Until yesterday. He let that hang. This wasn't a customer service issue. This was a statement. Another slide, the competitor's logo. Ameri's Sky called me before I landed. Offered to match your deal. Gasps around the room. You're bluffing, the CFO said. I don't bluff, Darius replied, voice low, tired but solid. I build with people who value what I bring, not just when it's easy. Janet leaned in. What do you need to see, Darius? Not a press release, not a pledge. Real change, real policy. Or we walk. The room went silent. If you can't guarantee that, he closed his laptop, then the deal dies today. He walked out, team trailing, didn't say a word until the elevator doors closed. Shelley, tell Mary Sky, I'm ready to talk. That night, staring out at the city lights, he called Mary's CEO, Tom Blanchard. Before I sign, Darius said, I need to know, are you ready to build something that makes space for people like me? Not just my tech, my team, my vision. Blanchard didn't hesitate. We've got work to do, but you'll never wonder if you belong. That was all Darius needed. Next morning, boom. Press releases everywhere. Freeman Systems signs historic $5 billion deal with Mary Sky. Caliber loses major tech contract after profiling incident. Social media went wild. Footage from the plane leaked Darius. Silent, calm, walking off with his bag. No drama, just dignity. The blowback hit Caliber hard cancellations, angry emails, boardroom panic. A merry sky welcomed Darius and his daughter Zion on stage at the project launch in Dallas 5 days later. Reporters wanted to know, was this revenge? No, Darius said. It's correction. Caliber tried to make amends, called to apologize, but he didn't pick up. His silence said it all. A week later, back home in California, Darius sat with Zion, helping her glue a science project about energy transfer. That's what this was, too. He told her, where you put your energy, what you build with it. Later, he posted online, this wasn't about a seat. It was about systems. I didn't pull the deal out of anger. I pulled it out of principle. We deserve to belong without explanation. DF. That message blew up, not because it was loud, but because it was true. He didn't need to break the system in one night. He just made people see it, made silence uncomfortable. And maybe that's how real change starts. If you've ever been made to feel you didn't belong somewhere you earned, don't shrink. Don't fold. You're not the problem, the room is. Use your voice, your power. Build your own rooms like Darius did. If this story hits you, share it, speak up, drop a comment below. Because silence never changed anything, and we've been quiet long enough.
Xin chào các bạn, mình là Trinh, mình phụ trách viết content. Trên đây là những công việc của mình là mình lên mạng.
It is cold, yeah. Next one? Alright. Thank you, man. Hey, if you guys have any trouble, let somebody know. Please.
After the tree to hold on to.
Yeah, they're